We'll start the meeting. There's John. John without it.
He's currently getting connected. Should be there.
Hey, John, you there?
Hey guys, I'm here. Yep, I'm gonna be driving for a while, so I might not have the video on, but
Great.
I'm present.
I will call the meeting to order and roll call, please.
Chair Kelly,
Here.
Vice Chair Herman,
Here,
Board Member Faya, Board Member Ruppel. Mr. Chair, we have quorum.
Item number 2, approval of the minutes from our last meeting, the April 8th meeting. Were there any questions or changes that need to be made to it?
I'll make a motion to pass.
Okay. We have a motion to
Or
approve the
not.
minutes. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I
Take that as an aye from John. Any visitor communications today?
We do not have any visitor communication.
Work. So Paul or Jackson, who's going to take the lead on that?
I'll start us off, but we're gonna tag team it, so. I'm just gonna go through a list of projects and items that we think are relevant for you guys. Things that are being worked on not only by our department, but other departments in the city. So to kick it off, we'll start with the East Portal. Hopefully you guys have gone over there and checked it out. It's coming along. We are getting ready to open it on July 1st for actual transit operations. So CET will be starting their daily routes out of there on July 1st. We're going to open the RV dump as well as the water fill station. And then we'll end up doing a ribbon cutting when we get everything a little bit more. I want it more complete. The dog park that council budgeted for and EV chargers. I mean, that's a ways out, whether we wait for that or not. So there will be a formal ribbon cutting, but I guess we're going to go with the soft start on July 1st. And then we're working with Pacific Crest Lines as well to start using that as a point of pickup, drop off. At Race, yeah, which is just a horrible spot. They got a pretty big bus, a 40-foot bus, trying to get in there. Stage, there's no place to pull off the road. I mean, it's just not a good spot. So this site will be much better. Plus, there's parking that people can use and not affect the grocery store. So we're excited about that. We're going to be working with Travel Oregon and ODOT to get some signage on the highway and what that will look like. And then also working with Parks Board on getting and City Council on getting whatever the final name of the actual place is. Sisters Gateway Park and Transit Center. I mean, I don't know what the final deal is, but and I'm not going to try to make a sign until I do know, but it'll be something along those lines. So we're gonna kind of do that trial by air, see how people are using it. We're not going to go in there and automatically say no overnight parking, although we might end up there depending on what people are doing. Largely because we do want to fulfill that park and ride need, and sometimes it is overnight. So we'll watch it. We had long discussions with Cascade East Transit staff about parking, and they were like adamant, no overnight parking. You're going to lose all your parking. I said, well, we'll see. We might be able to designate half a dozen spots for overnight parking. But we'll end up putting a time limit on it for sure, whether it's 48, 72 hours. Yeah. I'm going to kind of let the users tell us how to
I'm just curious, because if you were catching the bus and leaving your car there, then you're gonna leave it for extended.
Potentially.
You know.
Yep. Next big one is Barclay Drive. So they did their grinding today. They're gonna be paving tomorrow. Paving in all the patching, the larch and cedar approaches, and all the wedges on the edges, and then doing the pre-level tomorrow, and then they'll do final lift on Thursday. And then we'll put down temporary centerline striping because we are diverting the entire eastbound ODOT highway to that for an hour on Saturday for the parade. Yep. Wish we had final striping in, but at least we're going to be paved out and yeah. So right now it's going to operate as it has with stop control still on the eastbound Barclay movement. And then the following week we'll end up getting our final striping. We'll finish up our signage. You probably heard about signs being placed behind trees and those type of things. All those are getting worked out right now. And then on Friday, June 20th, we will actually do the traffic control change where we'll go from stop control on Barclay to Camp Polk. So with that, there will be traffic control change signage ahead, stop ahead, stop sign, stop stencil. We'll end up having a roll up portable stop sign there. So we'll do everything we can to make that new traffic control change as obvious as possible. So
Like me, when it stop.
yeah, yep. And it'll be interesting because, you know, there's going to be a turn lane. So eastbound traffic on Barclay will have a turn lane that they can turn left and go north on Camp Polk. Can you pull up the
Yes.
so you can see that turn lane where people can stage and wait to make that turn onto Camp Polk going northbound. So there could be a little bit more delay on the southbound movement, waiting for alternate route traffic or if somebody's caught in that center turn lane. But the biggest thing is just the through movement on the alternate route from Locust to Barclay. We'll see how the it's escaping me right now. So the delineator Duracurb that we're going to be putting in on the right side where you see the hashed out lines and the bike symbol. So we're doing that out of Duracurb, which is basically HDP pipe cut in half with candlesticks in it. I mean, you see it on Wilson and Bend. Same type of thing. We went that route versus permanent curbing over there just because we know this is an interim fix that we're going to have a roundabout there at some point. So what we don't know is how the kids will treat the Duracurb and the candlesticks with their jacked up Dodge pickups. They might go right through the middle of it. I don't know, but we'll kind of watch that. You know, we do have a big pile of boulders that we could strategically place.
When we think that when this phase is completed,
Are we going to?
yeah, we're gonna start down the track. Cause I'm curious because I was at the roundabout earlier this week and I was heading eastbound, you know, the cars coming down Locust, there was like 20 of them. And what it did is it created a backup onto Cascade because there was all cars were getting through, and it was like, wow, it looks like people are using the bypass already. So I wonder how that dynamic is gonna play out.
We have ODOT that's always getting trip data, going through town. But they're looking, time periods, on either end of town. We haven't had them, or it's been a couple years since they set up, cameras and things to count trips actually on the alternate route, but, we can get whatever data we want. I mean, we have two counters, and see what's going on.
It'd be interesting to see.
Split top. In the brains. So. Are we gonna, during this time period, because I think that the human nature is to make this a way bypass and have systems, are we gonna put that speed sign up there? We have.
Your speed is-
Yeah, your speed is, people like the speed is out there.
So a little later on in my debrief, I'll talk about the North Locust safety improvements, which include that stuff. But I'm sure Chad will have his radar trailer like he always has it. My radar detector goes off every single time I go by them. It drives me nuts. But yeah, we'll have that in place too, but we can do whatever, whatever we.
I think we need to, the town's pretty good, you can train them like every drives. But it's just, how do we keep the people passing through the stupid laws?
Yep, for sure. Yep. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting paving. We got a lot of leveling courses to do on this intersection. That crown of the intersection, we're bringing up 10 inches with asphalt. So pretty substantial. With that, the property to the north, which is zone tourist commercial, that was being talked about developing into an RV park. We had a pre-app with them, and the fire department said that they're gonna have to put hydrants on site. So they're gonna need a water line to go up there. And I did not want to go into this intersection after we paved it. So we were able to work with the developer to get them to put in the water line at least to the back of, they put it by the swale, almost short of the swale, in the Camp Polk right away, but we got it out of the intersection. So got that all tested and signed off this week. So that's, what's that? A while ago. I would say almost a year ago. Yeah. When everybody first started, freaking out about it. Yeah. Yep. So any other questions on Barkley? We sent this with some highlights to Bill Bartlett to put in the nugget next week, just to give people a heads up. And yeah, I think it's gonna look good. It's gonna look industrial. It's gonna look arterial.
Yes.
It's not gonna look resi and fluffy, and we didn't do street tree. We didn't have a lot of right of way. So we really wanted to spend the money and the effort putting in those 10-foot wide multi-use paths on both sides to give bikes and pedestrians plenty of room to navigate the corridor. Okay, West Side Pump Station. Dun, dun, dun. We got bid results in. It was about mid-May. We had 4 bidders. The low bid was 2.85 million from Rickabaugh Construction. And the high bid was Emery and Sons at 3.37 million. Was 2.6 to 2.9. So the engineer issued the notice of intent to award, and the notice of intent to award got protested. by the next low bid, Robinson and Owen. Which their bid is 3.18, which is about 330,000 more than Rickabaugh. And their reasons for protests were just some technicalities on bid submittals. There was 3 of them, very informal things that the attorney and the engineer deemed that we could ask for afterwards, resumes of project managers, OSHA safety forms, that type of stuff. So
Liquor clinics, so
was not submitted. Not submitted, which they're correct. It wasn't. But there is in the instruction to bidders a clause in there that says the city can collect this information if it doesn't have direct influence on bid price, timing, and basically project scope. Up to and after the bid results are in. So I've only dealt with 2 of these. And both of them, the city ended up rebidding the project, which is not great because all the contractors now know each other's numbers and it gets kind of squirrely. But again, we rely on our legal staff. So legal came back with a denial of the protest that got sent out today. And we haven't heard back from Robinson, no. So. We'll see how it plays out. Yep, it is what it is. Again, engineer was very comfortable with Rickabaugh and their references, and they've done this type of work and they're capable of doing the work. So paying another 10% on technicalities didn't seem attractive to us either. Yeah. So more to come on that. We'll keep you apprised of how that turns out. Rogue Street Pump Station, we're still working on that design, getting closer. Again, reminder, we're going to bid and construct that after the West Side Pump Station is done. Edgerton Road transmission line, the NEPA work is ongoing. We're in a 30-day public notice right now. So the Forest Service sent notice of the project to all the adjacent property owners. Going by the project, as well as they had another buffer beyond that sent it out. So we'll see what the results of that are when they come in. And then they'll continue doing that work. We did talk to them. They thought that they would be done by this fall.
So no delays from the Forest Service. I'm seeing delays on like NEPA processes.
Not from our sister staff, which is doing this work. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it'll go away. Yep. Lazy Z, we are getting ready to issue the RFP for the design team. Again, we installed that new flow meter for the effluent disposal line. We've been pumping effluent out there all spring. We're actually getting ready to cut hay in a couple days. So we'll get a crop off of there.
So Paul, the RFP is for the wetland treatment system, right?
It's for the wetland treatment system. It's for everything in phase 1, which includes an irrigation pivot.
Okay.
It includes some trails, a 1-mile trail loop and a 2-mile trail loop.
So just a recommendation, you'll have to get a new permit from DEQ for a different type of wastewater treatment system. Right now, City of Redmond is challenging what DEQ is proposing for their new permit, their new WPCF permit. Some of the conditions don't look like they should be as stringent as DEQ is proposing. So if you haven't already, I would suggest talking to Ray and Kirshner at City of Redmond to see what they're facing. And the Oregon Association of Clean Water Agencies is actually sending a letter of support concurrence on some of the issues to DEQ. That's, I think the comments are due on Redmond's permit, maybe like next week.
Interesting.
But it would probably be wise for you to know what's going on.
The interesting thing is we're not changing our method of treatment like they are.
Yeah, so maybe.
Because they went from a oxidation ditch with, you know, secondary clarifiers to a complete lagoon wetland treatment system. So we're not changing, we're still doing aerated lagoons. All we're doing is adding another method of effluent disposal. So from what we understood from the people, the engineers that did the master plan update is we would have to submit and get approval on a new reclaimed water use plan.
And is that Anderson Perry's? That's
Anderson Perry, yeah,
So they should know what's going on.
yeah,
I just
Yep.
want to make sure you were aware that I think DEQ's getting a little more stringent on this WPC permits. It looks like they might be pushing some things on them as well.
yeah. Actually, our current WPCF permit expires in December of this year. So last time we renewed it, it only took like 6 years for it to renew it. Yeah. Elm Street multi-use path. We got that charging along. CEC has started their tree removal. They're going to be putting in conduits coming down from Tyee to essentially all the way to new vaults at Black Crater, including a vault on either side of what will be the new pedestrian bridge. And then they're going to run some conduits underneath the bridge to get those across. So with that, we're working with the bridge design team to get those conduit. Not only the hanging system, but the location where they're going to be going through the wing wall foundation determined so we can get that lined up with what CEC needs to do. So we're looking at fall winter construction on that project. Well, one, design is complete. Eric is going to submit for county permits. And you remember that and well 3, we're going to be doing a fall bid let because we can't take those offline during peak demand, which is today. Development has slowed down. Jackson, I'll like kick this over to you on anything new development wise.
Trying to think. So Sunset Meadows, they went really fast through phase 1 and 2. Phases 3 and 4 are going along really slow. Woodlands, again, the available lots out there, not going up nearly as fast as they were previous years. Just slower across the board. The odd lot around town is getting developed, but the big developments are slowing down fast.
And the infrastructure is going in, you can see over on Adams Avenue. That'll be, so they're doing the east, which I believe is 19 units. They'll get the infrastructure in on that first, and then they'll move over to the west and do that. So we could potentially, once they get their infrastructure in and platted, start seeing some permits from Habitat.
So is the slowdown affecting your projections for SDCs and funding these big projects?
It's still a little TBD, but we definitely backed off on our projections for next year, for sure. Yeah. Woodlands is still pulling permits. They went ahead and finished the water and sewer infrastructure on phase 3, which is a pretty big phase. And it also includes the new entrance onto Highway 20 at Hood. And it includes the rapid flashing beacons, rectangular rapid, the RRFBs, being installed on the crosswalk going across Highway 20 right there as well. So we got the Northwest Park started, the master planning of that. Planning is taking the lead on that, Matt Martin. They did their stakeholder meetings. Well, they got a consultant, NV5, on board. They did their stakeholder meetings. Then they had a community open house. I think some of you were there. And they're basically taking all that information and producing a handout that quantifies all the information that they got from, not only the open house, but the stakeholder meetings. And we'll probably see more public outreach on that because there wasn't a lot of attendance at the open house. So whether it's a community survey or, we'll see what they want to come up with. But the biggest thing
It was a
is,
busy time.
It's a weird location too, I feel. You park pretty bad. Any time, because, roundabout and all the crosswalks, and it's a really dynamic location.
well, to date, the roundabout's been in for 8 years and we haven't had anybody even cross the sidewalk. So I think I don't know. It's just, it really has a lot of benefit to it because not only multiple points of access to the highway system, you're essentially located between the west side downtown. It's got great pedestrian and bike connectivity to it. So it's got a lot of things going for it. So, and the price is right. Let's see, utility rate increases. Yeah, let's take a look at those. Those are always fun. What's that? You just got to take a look at what our neighbors up to the north, Indian Ford Water System, and what their rate increase is. You won't feel so bad. So this is the letter that we sent to all of our customers, explaining not only what the need is, the why, for the rate increases, but how much as well. So you can see the average increase for a residential monthly bill, which includes the volume charge going up quite a bit, is when the volume charge goes up 16%, but it's a little over $5 a month. So not too bad. Again, this is the second year of increases of, I think the rate study came back with 5 consecutive years. So basically doing about 4% on the sewer every year and then 8 to 12% on the water. So last utility bill, I believe. So it had been May.
Pretty good.
No, we've learned in the past if you do small incremental every year, almost cost of living increases. It's a lot more palatable than a 30% across the board increase. So
That's good lesson to.
yeah, not only utility rate increases, but SDC increases as well. So we revisit our SDCs every 5 years. In fact, we are going to revisit our transportation SDC this year, budgeted funds for it. That's not going to be a fun one. That's going to be expensive. So We redid parks, I want to say 2 years ago, and then water and sewer right before that, so. Try to keep the increases as small as possible and not. Just the cost of infrastructure construction from what it was 5 years ago. Yeah. So the North Locust safety improvements. So we just applied for a $250,000 small city allotment grant. No match required. The project itself, when we scoped it and engineer's estimate was 330.
That sounds accurate. It was somewhere in that range.
It was north of the 250.
Mhm.
Yep. So what it includes is reconfiguring the intersection at Locust and East Cascade, taking away the turn lane, shortening that crossing distance on the westbound East Cascade movement. Redoing ADA ramps because I don't think any of them meet current guidelines. On all four corners, new pedestrian crossings, quite a bit of work on that intersection alone. We're also looking at a pedestrian crossing at Green Ridge, and then a enhanced pedestrian crossing at Black Butte. And then actually tying that crossing into a multi-use path down Black Butte that will tie into paths that currently come from North Maple and Tamarack. So we'll have an entire system.
That's
Going.
all.
Yeah. Yep. And no, state gas tax. It's small city allotment, so only cities under 500 or 5,000 people can apply. Might be that cell phone right there.
Yeah, sir, could you maybe put it underneath your chair? We'll try that.
Not there.
Oh, I actually think it's our mics up here. I'm going to, Paul, I'm going to mute our mics and get us some of the floor ones real quick.
It's not. You don't.
No, I took these ones all the way down and it stopped. So I'm pretty sure that's the issue. But Paul, your cost estimate was accurate. It was 325, just under.
And that includes an enhanced crossing with RRFBs at Black Butte as well. So we're not sure exactly what that looks like, if they will be like the ones you see on the parkway, or will they just be pedestrian signs that are lit up in amber lighting? But user controlled for sure.
Yeah, but we really appreciate the work in doing all these grants. I know it's a lot. But well, they pay off.
They help out a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
So the Locust and Black Butte
Uh-huh.
intersection, if you're putting in a multi-use path, is that gonna be on the south side of the
Yes.
street where it's basically gravel right now? Will
Yes.
some of those arborvitae come out? 'Cause that is like vision clearance issue for
We'll have to see. I'm not sure if they're gonna be located in public right of way or not. Typically, we try to put those paths as close to the property line as possible. So it's potential for them too. Yeah.
Is that further on the east end?
so it's you got Black Butte, you got the stop sign, and the on the north side, the wire fence.
Yep.
On the south side, there's sort of that like old canal
Hmm.
ditch. And then this line of like dying arborvitae or juniper. And those, you sort of have to like sneak out into the intersection to see past them.
Right, yeah, I think the juniper is definitely gonna go. We have to relocate the fire hydrant,
Oh, okay,
so that intersection is gonna change a little bit.
great.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, because it's also like it's a really tight turn,
It is, yep.
which is right now it's like can be a little sketchy
And that's a 3/4 street.
on Wednesdays. Oh, for a seat to table pickup.
So it's been existing as a 3/4 street, was built that way.
Yeah.
Just right of way width. And obviously, when that property gets brought into UGB, it'll be fully expanded. There'll be pedestrian facilities. Then that'll be the big change there. But yeah, we'll make sure to take a look at that for sure.
We should be hearing results on that by mid-July. On the grant.
So a 3/4 street is you build the street, the 2 travel lanes, you build a pedestrian and basically the pedestrian improvements on one side and no sidewalk on the other side. And you see those when developers put in streets in front of their property. They'll put in the pedestrian facilities adjacent to their property, but not on the other side of the street. That's for those people to put in. Yep. So City Hall landscaping project, fire-wise and water-wise, tree removals are completed, tree trimming's completed. We secured the grant to do the tree removal and as well as the decorative gravel around the building. We've secured all the decorative gravel, is that right?
We have the gravel.
So that'll all be installed with when we put it out to contract. And then we got a consultant, Greenworks. We're gonna enter into a design contract with them after July 1st. And then they'll do the design and then the construction documents. Hopefully we can get to construction. If not in the fall, then definitely in the spring, for sure. So that will include removing all the turf all the way around the building and redoing the irrigation from spray heads to subsurface drip, all new plantings, a really cool design where it can be interactive with the public, educated opportunities as well.
And I'll
Yeah.
just note.
Yeah. No, I don't think, not for this discussion. Yeah, so we'll be working with Mike Faha, and he's done a ton of this work. He does it, he's got quite a few projects that he's done in Bend. He did the landscape design on Cascade Avenue, so top quality firm. So looking forward to that.
So when you say educational, like there be like plant markers and signs of some sort.
I think all that's on the board. Yeah, yeah. No, we want to make it to where people can come and be like, oh, this is what I can plant. This is what
Yeah.
deer don't eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daisies.
Peony.
Yeah.
Yes.
Arbor Day I was not personally there. I was out of town, but I heard it was a great event. I got to see the product of it. I'll see the essentially 40 trees that got planted on the south side of the multi-use path in kind of a stark, open, non-used area. So I think it turned out great. It sounded like it was a lot of fun. The kids were great. Our landscape design team was there as well, which is pretty cool for them to show up. So another successful Arbor Day. Roundabout landscaping, we're starting the kind of the final design. So preliminary design is done. Adjacent property owner meetings have happened. Unfortunately, there's a couple property owners that just we could not get them to meet with us after a lot of attempts. And so at some point we have to move on. So we're going to. We'll obviously be mindful of their business signage, access, sight lines, those type of things. So now the design team's going to go back and tighten up that preliminary design concept, and then we can bring it to you guys. Let's check it out. So that's moving pretty quick. And then the project coordinator and seasonal utility technician positions. I'll kick that over to Jackson to bring you up to date.
Yeah, so we conducted interviews for the project coordinator position. Made a few rounds of narrowing down, landed on a candidate, and going to be doing final negotiations with them this week. And then utility technician, seasonal position, we're going to be conducting interviews this week. So hopefully shortly we'll have some more folks on board.
New Jackson.
New Jackson. Mhm. And then, yeah, really looking forward to getting some more, another utility technician, help our crew out. It's getting busy out there. They need help.
You had good amount of people applying. Didn't you?
For the project coordinator, we had 98 applicants,
Whoa.
interviewed 6.
And a lot of those are those online portals where, you know, everybody's resume gets sent. So,
Mhm.
but great applicants.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Quality applicants. Yeah.
Local people or?
Regional.
Regional? They understand the cost of living in Sisters.
A couple of them were, we had a guy that was a engineer 3 out of Portland that lived in Sisters.
Mhm.
But the city of Portland is now requiring all
To come in.
every day. So
A lot of Redmond, Bend folks.
and yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like, well, hopefully, we're gonna benefit from the Forest Service getting rid of some of their staff. So yeah, that could work out in our favor. We'll take advantage of that for sure. There's good people over there. Yeah, well,
Unfortunately, there were only about 4 applicants for the seasonal utility technician position, but got some promising candidates. Look forward to interviewing them.
Just need one.
yep. So
What was the season?
6 months. And we'll carry him pretty much the entire 6 months, even though we're a little bit late. Yeah. East Portal Dock Park, council budgeted funds to build that this year. And so that's after July 1st, we'll be working with the Parks Board on how that all looks, exactly where that's going over there. I keep saying East Portal, I need to quit doing that. Sisters Gateway Park, yes. A couple other items that we got going. So Adams Avenue, the Urban Renewal Agency allocated funds to do that project 25-26.
Nice.
Yeah, which is about 3.5 million. Excited about that. We were able to. We didn't have a lot of money in our parking district. We had about 330,000 in there that will help pay for that. And since the entire downtown core is in the parking district, those funds can be used for parking, pedestrian improvements, and drainage. So we're looking at using those for all the side street diagonal parking connections from Main Avenue over to Adams.
Get close to that project, it might be good to refresh everybody on that, because I don't think you two were here during that. We did that design review on that.
Yeah, we can do that. Yep.
Yeah, yes, good.
I'm actually working with the Hickman Williams who did the original design on that and the bid specs. They took it to 100%, but again, this is 2021. We have some things that are changing out there. Habitat's going to put in their frontage improvements. We've had a little bit of development. We've had some lot lines move. So I'm getting a contract with them to do not only just do the final update on the plans, but to do the construction admin during that as well. So excited for that project. That's really going to finish off downtown nicely. Yeah. Yep. Our crew got the spring crack seal list done. They spent a good week, maybe more, out there. They got a lot of work done. We got our 2025 overlays done last week. Knife River came in and they were in and out in 3 days. So they did West St. Helens, section of McKinney Butte from Arrowleaf to Brooks Camp. The Songbird Park Place neighborhood over by Clemens Park. We had a chunk of Timber Creek Drive, and then all of Desperado down in front of the athletic club and the brewery, all the way to the end by the new theater. Yeah, they did great. So our crew is following them with the striping, crosswalks, all that. So we're rocking and rolling on that right now.
On striping for parking striping, are you gonna do that downtown? It's sort of trying to figure out. The parking place.
We're gonna restripe the entire downtown, all the diagonal parking. So that takes us a while because it's an early morning shot only. So we got about 2 hours that we can get it done. But as soon as they're done, I mean, we got basically all of our travel lane striping done that we do ourselves. We'll finish up the thermo and the crosswalks from the overlays, and then we'll start doing the downtown parking. Yep. Yep.
That can change.
We like to just go right over the top of the lines unless
Wait,
there's some issues. So and the last thing that I had was we got a rodeo to put on this week. So I am actually going to my nephew's graduation. This is my first rodeo in 24 years. First rodeo parade that I have not been part of.
You'll be missed.
And I'm not feeling bad about it. So the crew's got it. It's yeah, it's a well-oiled machine. We got on them. They got Tallarico to donate some equipment to clean up. Yeah, that was a mess last year. We were not happy.
They made sure to emphasize that they'd have a cleanup group.
yeah, that was just, I mean, they're not happy.
They forgot, you know. I mean, Bobcat Mike did it for so long. He was the number one and the number two business. You know, they announced every time. So he was a fixture of the rodeo, and then he moved and they just forgot to replace him. So hoping that party bus makes a special appearance. Was it nice? Jackson, did you have anything else?
Yeah, so I don't recall if I updated you folks at the last meeting, the timing on it. EV chargers for East Portal. We have a new permanent project manager with ODOT for that project now. So things are starting to move forward with that. And there were some staff changeovers, things on the federal level that kind of pause things with EVs for a while. But we're moving forward with that. Made contact, had great conversations with them. We're looking at doing the design starting this year into 2026 and construction starting hopefully late 26, possibly early 2027.
Hopefully that aligns with the jurisdictional transfer of the
Mhm.
McKinsey section over to us from MoDOT.
Yep.
Thought that was gonna be an easy transfer, but
Seems never.
no, takes time.
So what's your role changes? When's that gonna happen?
We gotta get the project coordinator in-house. Once that happens, we'll do office switches. I'll be out. Well, I'll be mostly in my truck, but I'll be staged out of HQ. And then it's really just gonna be training the project coordinator up, and we're talking mid-July. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's exciting to get just new, smart, motivated blood, and yeah, be great for our team.
Downtown is great.
It's getting there. Yeah, it's getting there. I wish the highway looked better.
Yeah.
I can't even drive down that. Makes me twitch. Ugh. But when you invest heavily in your asphalt like we do, you just tend to love new asphalt. It looks so pretty and clean, and smells great in the morning. Nothing like it.
Sticks with you all day.
Anything from you guys? Anything that you've heard positive, negative that we need to think about? There's been, I've heard some rumblings of an article being written. I haven't talked to anybody. So perfect. Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Downtown merchants are really happy right now. Because I've been doing a lot, I'm working on a project for Rotary, and so I call them like 60 merchants down now. Okay. And most of them are in pretty good spirits right now. The retail sector seems to be up. We've had some great weekends last month, so they're all pretty motivated. That's always good. I don't know, it's a good move in town when they're happy, then everybody's happy.
That's good to hear.
No. I mean, there's a couple struggling, but I think that's.
Yeah.
I think that we're in a really good spot with that because we've got restaurants opening up that are coming into town, and that's exciting to see that. Hopefully they don't starve themselves out of business before they go to doors, but that's the results of opening up a restaurant, you know. So that's, you know, 1 of 5 clients. We've had Three Fingers Jack. That's pretty we got the familiar that's opened up. So that's all really
And
good.
you.
And the Jerry's, they're huge make a food cart. So those are all really positive things that are happening in the community. What it's just, it seems like we're in a good mood right now. The city is, which is fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's always fun.
I've heard some questions about landscaping of the roundabout and will it look like a patch of dirt forever? I'm like, no, they're working on the design, so it might be a small update or something to say.
Whole art thing.
Well, yeah, the art thing is a whole other thing, but
We're gonna move ahead with the landscaping ahead of the art. We're not gonna wait. So yeah, I think when we get to that final design concept and we bring it to you guys, and that's gonna be a good time to get feedback, go back to the design team, and then get it out to the public. That's what it's gonna look like. because we have funds budgeted for construction of it, so.
Once we have a nice color photo of the design, we'll make a project website on the city's page and push that out.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirt out there right now that I'm sure people are like, that's not great to look at.
Well, it doesn't help too having all the way on Highway 20, the other ugly roundabouts all the way to Bend, right?
Yeah,
They are awful.
Minimalist.
Well, and then it doesn't help that Parks and Rec is killing their lawn right now too, so it's.
Oh, because they're gonna tear it out.
Kind of good to turn out, so it's like, sort of a whole, it's like, ah.
but this time next year, it'll look so good. I'm so excited for that over there.
Oh,
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah. Game changer.
We were reflecting, like, it was this time last year that the roundabout was being constructed,
Mhm.
right? Like, it's
Yep.
not that long ago, and it's like. Everyone's just so used to it, and like, yeah. The roundabout, you don't have to try to turn left anymore, and it's
Great.
like, yes.
Yep.
there have been some comments about on Fridays and Sundays when things all stacked up.
Yeah.
People forget that like it's always like that.
You know when VRBO checkout time is,
Yes.
because it's gonna be backed up past Lazy Z.
Amen.
But it was, it's interesting that everybody forgets all about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually forgot and went to Bend last Sunday and I got to take the mainline road back to my house. Which that's not fun either, but I wasn't gonna wait in traffic.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I don't know if John had anything.
John?
I don't. All sounds great. Thanks for the update.
Thanks, look forward to see you next meeting. With nothing else to be said, I've moved to adjourn the meeting.
Great.